Trey Hendrickson is a Bengal, but what about the terms, though? We'll talk about this coming up next on the Cincinnati podcast. Coming up on the Cincinnati podcast.
Hello, world. Cincinnati. You guys are the Yoshi creators, bro.
It's a new beginning. You know what that means, right?
But I know this, the whole NFL is scared of the Bengals.
Welcome to the Cincinnati podcast. I'm Ace, he is Zim, and we are live tonight, Monday, August 25th, 8:16. Did something happen today? Yeah, something happened a few hours ago, but before we get into that, partner, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right, man. Just coming off a really busy weekend. I had a feeling we were going to get some good news today, so here we are. We're ready to go.
Here we are, and here the Bengals are. If you didn't know, Trey Hendrickson signed today. It wasn't really an extension. It was just an alteration of the existing contract. He had 1 year left. The Bengals end up giving him a bonus, essentially, to move his salary up for this season. So the reason there's some people celebrating this, I'm just going to start here. So shout out to Trey. Happy for him. Happy for the family. Although I don't think either side really got what they wanted, right? Like Trey's getting the boost, but he's not getting the years that he wanted. He's not getting clarity on where he's playing after this season. The Bengals are not getting him locked up for multiple years. It was rumored that they had a 3-year, $90 million deal on the table. He doesn't take it because the guarantees are not there for the second year. And I feel like we're in a space that's very similar to where we already are. We just are spending more money in doing so. So for me, apparently there is no tag clause in the contract. For me, like, I don't think that this really solves anything. I think that it helps gets Trey on the field so he's not playing disgruntled. But I still feel like there's probably going to be some sort of feelings from Trey in regards to a lack of a long-term commitment. But for me, this doesn't really solve the issue. And maybe I'm being a pessimist or whatever. Like the way that I'm looking at it as Trey Hendrickson is on my roster just for this year at a higher price than what I was paying before, without the safety of knowing whether or not he's going to be a Bengal next year. It's still the same question marks at the end of the season. And to me, it's very eerily similar to what we've seen in the past with Andrew Whitworth, AJ Green. Sometimes they make these 1-year deals just to kind of be like, hey, let's end on a good note, and then you go out there and do your thing. I just don't understand it from this standpoint. If you're going to go out and try to franchise him next year, or you're going to try to extend him after this season, why not just do it now? Why not do it before the market goes crazy when the Micah Parsons and those guys end up resetting the market? It just, like, at this point, you almost have to tag him because you risk losing him to anybody. I don't want to see Trey Hendrickson after this season go to the Kansas City Chiefs, go to the Baltimore Ravens, sign wherever he wants. So in my head, you almost have to tag him. But to me, like, I just felt like the Bengals could have really just given him the 2 or 3 year deal, just guaranteed the money, because I just don't see who they're going to pay it to next season unless it's Orlando Brown Jr. Like, I just don't see them having an abundance of people to have to pay. So happy for Trey. As I'm looking at this Bengals team from a, building standpoint, I don't like, if it would have been a 2-year deal, I would have been good with that. But to have the same deal and I'm just paying more money for the same situation, I don't know, bro. How do you feel about it?
It's a lot of layers to this. Like when I first got the news, I was kind of bummed out because the news was coming in and they kept on saying, got the deal done, but you got paid. They weren't saying multiple years. Right. So I was like, everybody probably saw me on Twitter. I'm like, how many years? And it was the raise, right? One thing we will never know is if we didn't give him a raise, would he have played on it? I think that he's a tough customer, and I feel like part of me feels like he wouldn't have played on it. But then the human element of $16 million, I just thought that the Bengals could have used that to their leverage a little bit. Played into that a little bit more and held out even further if you went this far. Like, I'm not in favor of this even dragging out. Like, this is insane, right? So in my mind, I'm like, if he were to pass up on 16 million, I know that he just got the raise of 14 and now he's making 30, 31 or something like that. Mm-hmm. Awesome. But say you didn't do that. Part of me feels as though you would have really put him in a blender, and you might say, man, that might have made him mad. I don't think he's going to be happy about the one. He's still in a 1 year raise, so it's not like he's getting what he wants either way. I think that the Bengals, the rumor is, and being confirmed by several outlets, is that it was a 3-year deal for $95 million. I would have, and this is the part where I think the Bengals probably were like, remember Trey kept on saying, you gave me like your word that we would get this deal done or whatever, this year or whatever. If I'm the Bengals, I say, yeah, I gave you a 3-year, $95 million offer. That was the deal. And he could say, yeah. But it ain't got no 2nd-year guarantees. And I'd be like, well, I didn't say that I was going to have guarantees either. Take the deal and you'll be fine, bro. You get to the next year and maybe the guarantees ain't there, but the Bengals would have honored that, bro. There's no scenario that would have happened where he would have got to year 2 and they were like, nah, we're not paying that. Like, to me, the other end of it is the Bengals got to adapt to the times and know that your best players on your team, you gonna have to make an exception for those players. And I think them unwilling to do it, you got both parties. One, the agent is saying, y'all done cooked me a couple times already before. I'm gonna look stupid. TJ Watt just got 3-year guarantees, right? And then on the other end, you got the Bengals saying, bro, I'm giving you 31. I bet you Trey would have even took less if it had 2nd-year guarantees. And I think the Bengals are saying, we can't be in the room. We can't get in the business of giving guarantees year 2. And I think it's backwards. And I kind of side more with Trey in that instance, right? But I just come back to the point, like, the Bengals play hardball all this time. I would have kept on playing hardball. And if he would have threatened to sit, I would have been like, all right, you're going to come back 31 years old and try to like what? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to sit out and put a Le'Veon Bell. You're going to, you know what I mean? You're going to be in the same spot. It's like you don't really have that leverage. And I just thought that them giving a pay raise, me being on the positive side of it, I can't say this. Even if he were to pay, even if the Bengals were to tag him next year, you can look at it like this. The Bengals hypothetically gave him a 2-year, $70 million contract under their terms, right? Because they're going to guarantee this year, and then next year, from a cap perspective, is nasty, like the amount of cap it would take up. But it's between $36 and $39 million, right? That they will have to pay for the tag. Now, you might say that's a lot of money. By next year, it might not be that crazy. And then you consider it's still not higher than Micah Parsons, still not higher than Myles Garrett. So from a tag standpoint, you could look at it like the Bengals can control him for the next 2 years. I just don't like the cap ramifications of the 2nd year on the tag portion if you do look at it from that standpoint. And then also, if he doesn't play well or he gets hurt, the Bengals will be like, whoa, we dodged that bullet. We ain't got to pay him, you know what I'm saying? That's why we didn't want to do the guarantee. So it does give them a little bit of control. I just think for the morale and how far we come, a 2-year extension would have been so sweet. Like, when I say 2-year, I mean a 3-year, 2-year.
2 years guaranteed. 3rd year, you got to out. Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I'm not trying to. I know people are like, oh, are you just going to be negative about but 6 months to get here, bro. I don't understand it. We could have gotten here a long time ago. I think, like Zim said, I would have tried to put the press on until the kickoff, right before. You still had 2 weeks left. They must have felt like this is just what it is. And that's where they at, man. It is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm celebrating like when T extended or when Jamar got extended, because those are actually extensions. This is just an alteration to an existing contract, to an existing problem. And to me, you just made that problem harder, right? You did right by Trey. So for Trey, I'm not mad at Trey for accepting this deal or doing what he needed to do. I think for this season, because clearly if he would have played on that number, that would have been atrocious for him. Him coming off of an all-pro season, him leading the league in sacks 2 years in a row. There's no way that you could try to say, hey, play on this 16 mil. But I mean, you had the Panthers report out there. I just would have did a lot more on the negotiating side to try to be like, all right, I'll send you to Carolina then. Do you want to take the deal now? Do you want to take half of, like, if I guarantee this much, is that what you really want to do? And this puts them in a situation very similar to what they've done in the past. And this is my issue with it. We've seen this in the past with the 1 year thing. They did it with Jesse Bates. They've done it with all of these different players. It puts the pressure of, okay, this year has to be a bowl, which is fine, but Justin Simmons needs to be on your team. Like, you can't be sitting here with guys like Justin Simmons, guys like Dalton Risner, just sitting out there. Like, now, if this is the stance that you're making, you got to be all in. Now, with the Bengals being over the cap right now, I don't know how they're going to be able to do that now, because they've handcuffed, and that's what I'm saying. Like, majority of the time when I'm complaining about the Bengals with doing these moves, like waiting to do T, waiting to do the Jamar deal, is because it doesn't really seem like there's any foresight in the thinking. So right now, we're trying to get Dalton Risner, right? And I think we could still get him because they're offering them league minimum. But say we want a Justin Simmons. Now that we're over the cap, there's things that have to happen, people that have to be cut, money that has to be moved around for us to even be able to do that. And right now, we have clear deficiencies in the roster that need to be taken care of, especially with Dejon Anthony being hurt, especially right now with you losing Cordell Volson for the season. You need some kind of depth there at the guard position. And now they can't even do it at this standpoint. And there's still other holes, I feel like, left in the roster and weaknesses on the roster where I'm not going to say weaknesses. I'll say question marks. I'm not going to be super negative. I'll say question marks. There's still things that you don't know about on the defense. You don't know from an offensive line depth perspective. And so if you're going to make a move like this, you have to have the foresight to be able to have things to maneuver around. I don't know what the guarantees are for this year, so I can't say. It's being reported out there that people are saying that the Bengals are over the cap. I don't know if that's an official stat or official number. That's what some people are reporting out there, are saying that now they are over the cap. So you're saying that that's not true?
No, that's not true.
Okay, so I guess when the smoke clears,
coming into the deal, they had over $30 million in cap, right? The deal itself, based off of the guarantees and what they did, I don't know the structure of it, but it's not taking up the whole entire cap.
Yeah,
like, no.
Yeah, so we'll see, man. I'm not doing cartwheels or anything like that over this. It's cool.
Can I say though that I will say this? It's not the way that I wanted it, and I think a lot of people wanted it to happen. And like I said, I talked about a little bit of the flexibility the Bengals will have after the season. They will have the option to tag him, and they will have the option to walk away if he doesn't play well too. So you do get that. The other thing is this: I am very happy, and a lot of people I've seen this say this online. They be like, "Bro, y'all running out the same team." The team is not the same. They have the Noah Fant deal and all these different guys, the rookies and all these different guys. Even Slayton and all these players, I think that can help the Bengals. I do think that this team is very different. The offense is stacked. There are very few flaws on the offense that you can see. It's a couple of question marks. I think Peters has done an amazing job on the offensive line. There's a lot to be happy about with this team. The defensive side of the ball, just like a lot of other clubs, there are clubs that have prospects that we like, right? We don't know what they're going to be. You know what I mean? So the same question marks that we have on a lot of players, their rookies are going to have the same question marks as well too. We can't just pencil all these different things in. So I am excited though to know that Trey Hendrickson, the sack leader, is out there and we're not going through that. I will say though, what Ace's point too is one of my biggest fears, and I generally don't live in fear, right? But I'm foreseeing what could possibly happen is him going to a different team. And I thought us losing the control of us, of him, or whatever, to me is very, very important because when we're talking about the Bengals window, it's just Jamar, Burrow, T, you're gonna have a T, you're gonna have a Trey, you might have a Shamar, you know what I mean? Like it kind of mixes, but it's really just Burrow and Chase like right now. But everybody else around us, they're all gone. All the Mixons, all the Tyler Boyds, all the, all the Pratts, all the Von Bells, all these guys, they're all the guys that helped us out in the beginning of the Burrow era. They're all gone and it happened fast. I think the Trey Hendrickson one signaled to me that, the window was shut on us when Burrow hurt his wrist, to me. That's why I always look at the timeline. 2023, the window's shut. It was up to the Bengals to open it back up. But now when we open the window back up, it's a whole new squad. And I think me saying, Trey too, like Trey gone now, at some point soon. And he's getting older, and that's just what it is. I think what it is it's like kind of hitting a lot of our fans that the 2021, 2022, that era is now over. Like we're now into the next phase, and Trey Hendrickson only getting a pay raise kind of like makes it very clear that that era is really coming to a close.
Nah, you're right, man. It definitely is the end of an era for sure. And, how this team transforms, I think they needed Trey Hendrickson. We'll see how much of a difference he makes playing with Shamar Stewart, playing with Miles Murphy. He's going to be able to be a leader. And I think a part of that deal was him being a captain as well. He's getting what he deserves from a contract standpoint. And who knows what happens after this year. It was clear this whole offseason that he wanted to be a Bengal. Maybe that will continue in the offseason. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But obviously that's the biggest news to come out of Cincinnati. Another thing that me and you talked about earlier that's also been the talk, and I guess we could talk about this as well, was the Taven Bryan situation, right? So no secret today, Taven Bryan is let go. The timing of this is a little interesting because the day before, his wife kind of gave her experience with going to the game. She wasn't allowed at the game because of a policy that was in place, because of there being a lack of communication on her not having a wristband. So for those who don't know, she was kind of stopped at the player entrance. They didn't allow her in. She didn't want to leave Taven with without a ride or the car or anything. So essentially she let him go in. She wasn't able to enter. She was 8 months pregnant, had to wait outside, had to be Ubered back to the crib. So some people are speculating, did that have to do with Taven Bryan being let go? I just want to talk about the football side of things. My issue with the Taven Bryan thing is the fact that he had one of the highest pass rush win rates on the team in the preseason. Am I going to cry over a guy that's probably your fourth, fifth DT? Maybe if he's even active on game day. No. But I can't, me personally, this ain't something you got to speak on them. I can't dunk on a pregnant woman, being out there from that standpoint. But it's an interesting situation. There's a lot of people talking about it right now. The thing that I'll just say is I think that, the staff member could have handled that more professionally. I think from a Bengal standpoint, I would like to know, was it her complaining or did it have something to do with, hey, Howard Cross is just a guy. We think that Howard Cross is a younger prospect that has a lot more to offer at the position and may be able to do something or that, I don't know. It's been a weird situation, but it is a trending topic on the Bengals community right now. So I wanted to kind of address that as well because we've got the Trey situation. We got that. What are your thoughts on that?
On Taven Bryan?
The Taven Bryan situation.
Yeah, I feel as though those ones like that, the deep roster depth guys, it's hard for me to speak on those guys in terms from a football perspective because you don't really see all the practices with those. It's a lot different than the top of the food chain guys. Like we kind of see Logan Wilson a lot more, so you kind of have a different perspective and say, "Dang, I keep on seeing him, and he's missing plays and whatever." Like the deep depth guys, I don't know how well he was practicing in preseason. you're right. He had the highest pass rush win rate out of everybody on the interior defensive line. I think on the whole line itself, because Shamar is at like a 13, Taven Bryan was at like a 23%. So from that aspect, I don't get it, but it's hard for me to say because I wasn't there for all of it. I do know that that's something that we've always needed is some interior pass rush. I think Slayton has been getting some good rush early this in a Latin camp. I think you're going to see Chris Jenkins take that next step. And I think BJ Hill always gives you a little bit of something. McKinley, I think at first I thought he was going to go back to his natural position, but he's really, when you look at the depth chart, he's really the only 300-something plus pound guy behind, Slayton and then whatever. So you don't really have a straight up nose or a zero outside of them. So I see the reason why you would keep him. I'm guessing Howard Cross was cut.
No, Howard Cross is still on the roster. So most people are speculating that this means Howard Cross, the undrafted D tackle, is going to make the roster now because a lot. But
I didn't see Gregory either though. Gregory was cut.
They only cut 12 players today, so there's going to be more players cut tomorrow. Okay, but Taven Bryan was a part of that first wave of 12 players that were cut.
Right. Yeah, and that's all I got for the Taven Bryan. I think there's a chance that he probably could, hop back on the squad with the Bengals if somebody gets dinged up or something like that. I don't know. He's a veteran, so I don't think he has to go through waivers. Somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he would be available to sign. Also, I did want to talk about the Risner one real quick too. Mm-hmm. The rumor on Risner is that the Bengals want to give him the minimum at like 1.3, right? And he only wants like 2 is what the rumors are, right? And so for them to be $700K off, now mind you, they don't see him as we do, like we do as fans. And I will say there is validity to the person that says, well, why, if all these other teams need guards, how come Risner he didn't work out for none of them? He at home, nobody called him. And I think the Bengals look at him more as of an insurance policy. And I think Risner looks at himself more as I'm a starting level guard. I want to be able to get the job. The one thing I will say is, though, watching Rivers play really well, I would hate to give the job to Risner. He isn't who I think he is. He's not as good in the run game. He's really good, I think, for our system in the pass game, right? But then say Rivers is looking really, really good. And I've already made an agreement with Risner and say, like, you're the starter. I want to get them young guys, like, a chance to go and ball. Like, I keep on saying that on all the shows. It's like the young guys, we cannot be afraid to let these guys play. And I think that they need to play. The gray area with that is you gotta protect. You gotta
protect 9. Yeah, that's the only issue.
What do you feel about Risner? What does that say that he's at home and all these teams need guards, bro? Why are none of those teams asking him at all? Why is he at home all this time?
He has that interest. I know when he was here in Cincinnati, they talked about he had another visit lined up with the Seahawks. He said he was considering a visit with the Steelers, so it seems like that was at least offered.
That was bait so that they could get the Bengals to raise up their offer.
I mean, is it though? Do we know that there was? I don't know if people have lied about like different offers. I think you're right. It was to say like, hey, let's bring the offer up. I think it's obvious he wants to play with the Bengals. I think he's been on record on social media and all of that saying that. Like, bro, look, $700,000 to keep Joe Burrow upright. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, look. I like Rivers and everything. That's a variable, bro. That's a huge variable for somebody like a $200 million quarterback that you got sitting back there. $700,000 after you just decided, hey, I'm gonna give Trey $16 more million. $700,000 is nothing.
But you're still not answering my question. If Risner is good as you say he is, or as good as we think he is, why is he at home?
Because he's in his 30s. I think because he's in his 30s. And
so that's a variable.
I don't think he's that bad, though, bro. I think he's better than anything the Bengals have right now. Like to say, oh, I'm scoffing at you because Lucas Patrick, now that he's got his new PFF score, is this great player. Like, to say that you're not going to give Dalton Risner the starting job, like you haven't seen how bad that position is, to me is a lack of self-awareness. And like, to me, the issue for me is this. You already know what time it is at the right guard position. You actually also just lost Cordell Bolson. So you really need to add a guard just to have a backup there, let alone having a starter at right guard. To me, you're playing a dangerous game right now, because if Dalton Risner does say, hey, I'm going to just go ahead and sign with the Steelers, then what do you have? You got Lucas Patrick.
Bro. No, that report didn't come out until he didn't get what he wanted from the Bengals. Then they just put it out there as, oh yeah, Seahawks and the Steelers now got injuries. Like miraculously after the Bengals don't give him the 2 that he wants. I think the league is telling us that they view him as a backup as well. And I think that even though I agree with you that Risner is probably the best option to me, like I think for me, he's the best option as well. I think that the margin of how much better he is than the other 2 guys, I don't think it's that large. And I think that that's the discrepancy in the money. And I think that's the discrepancy in the urgency. It's like, why am I paying $2 million for a dude that I don't even know? I don't know 1,000% that he's going to be healthy and he's going to be better than the guy that I just drafted. I don't know that.
But how much is that in the scheme of 700,000 more? Like, that's not, to me, if he was asking for a couple mil more, sure, but he's only asking for a couple 100,000 more. Like, I can't. Right. After seeing what I've seen from Lucas Patrick, I don't care what the last thing looked like. I really don't care. After seeing that and knowing that Dalton Risner is a guy that, number one, has more starting experience than Lucas Patrick, he obviously has more starting experience than any of the rookies that we have. I just don't understand why you wouldn't solidify it, and you don't have to pay that much money. Like, the Noah Fant one was a no-brainer. To me, this one's a no-brainer, and you don't have to give him that much money. I don't know, bro. Why are we playing hardball? And I said that when it happened. Why are we playing hardball now? We got 2 weeks before the season starts. Are we really gonna let 700,000 be the difference between this man getting in and knowing what the offense is? Like, he's not gonna know what the offense is right now. He's not gonna know what the protections are right now. So you could potentially be delaying him to be the starter until week 4, week 5 at this point. And to me, that's the common thing with all of these deals is, why are we wasting this time and doing all of this? Like the Trey Hendrickson thing, he's missed the whole camp. He's missed the whole preseason. And now we're like, yeah, we're good to go now. And it's like, why are we waiting so long? Why are we waiting so long for these situations to do that? Because if Lucas Patrick isn't ready week 1 and he's looking at Myles Garrett, like, we're not going to be able to throw Dalton Risner in there. He might not even be, like, in game shape at that point. So, I don't know, bro. To me, it's like, if I'm riding with 9, if this was a defensive player, I wouldn't care, bro. I'm going to be honest. Some people are going to get mad that I said that because defense wins championships. That's cool. I'm not paying somebody on defense the amount that I'm paying Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is the franchise. Everything with him has to be delicate. Everything that you do surrounding him has to be taken care of. They're the reason that they're in this position, that they're looking at the Dalton Risners of the world, because they didn't handle the draft. They didn't handle the position after Alex Kappa, and that's where it's at right now. So to me, a couple 100,000, bro, I'm not like, I don't even know if he's like, is it escalator? We don't know. We don't know what it is. Like, if it's just a couple 100,000 and it's not guaranteed, or it's a situation where dude has to play X amount of snaps to even see that 100,000, is it worth it? I just don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth the back and forth and him having to, if it is fake visits that he's leaking, why do we even have to do this? Like, you're in the natty, sign, let's get it done. Let's move on. Let's get to what it is. Now, it's a situation where he might not sign, because a lot of people were like, oh, this is the Noah Fant thing all over again. And I'm like, I don't know, bro. The Mekhi Becton thing was very similar to this kind of situation too, where he came in, and I'm not saying Dalton Risner is Mekhi Becton, because obviously Mekhi Becton played extremely well. He's a much younger prospect. But that was a situation too that happened where the Bengals were like, yeah, we don't know. And then, it doesn't work out for them. They're still looking for a right guard as it stands right now. So for me, that's my only worry is, are you worried about 9? What does this say to 9? If 9 is sitting there reading the tweets and he's like, y'all got a chance to upgrade my guard position, but you're really sitting and waiting over a couple 100,000, do y'all really love 9? Or is it that we're trying to make the smartest business deal and pinch our pennies and worry about, like, I don't get it, bro. Like, maybe it was because they had the Trey Hendrickson deal on the table and they're like, we want to take care of this first.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you it is. I don't think the league. I think you're higher on Risner than
I think everybody's higher on him. Like, everybody.
Then why didn't he sign? You see what I'm saying? If he's so good, why is he not signing?
It's not that he's not Quentin Spain. He hasn't been sitting out for seasons and nobody signed him. He played last year. He's played all of these years since then. So, like, somebody at some point in the season was gonna sign him. I think, like you said,
I think if they get an injury.
Yeah, I think if it's an injury,
But that's not saying anything. That, like, I feel like
but I feel like Noah Fant did the same thing. It was the Bengals didn't sign him. All right, I'm gonna take a visit over here.
I'm saying again, I think Risner too is who I would go with too. But you're like, I don't know. But I'm telling you, like, I just honestly, that's what the rumor is. The $700K, they want to get to that, and it also the Bengals are looking at him like I think a lot of people in the league. Remember, the Bengals had a bunch of injuries. And that's what, like, at the offensive line position, I don't think they had any intentions of calling Risner. Lucas Patrick was kind of banged up, and then somebody else was banged up too. That's when they called Risner. I don't think that they're looking at him as he's a starting guard.
But who are the Bengals to say that they're a good evaluator at offensive line talent?
I think Fairchild and Rivers look really good. I'm not saying that I think that they're going to be Hall of Famers, and I'm not saying that the Bengals are going to be like whatever. But I think that Peters is very clear on who he likes. I think that they made 2 good selections at that point. We're going to see, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I think that they're looking at them a lot like everybody else in the league is looking at them that I know need guards. And I don't know if people – he's kind of a journeyman at this point. And I agree. Again, I think Risner is the better option. I just don't think that the league is seeing it that way. Fuzzy Ball says – going to celebrate with some T-Wings and Uno Wings from Midwest Best Barbecue for Trey Day. Who Day? So a lot of people I see mixed online, on the timeline where people were like, we got to be happy for Trey. And then other people was like, man, this sucks. I am happy that Trey's out there. That's one less thing to worry about. I think Trey with Shamar is going to be that's something I cannot wait to see. I think that Shamar being disruptive and Trey cleaning it up, and Trey getting around the corner, third down situations, I do think that alone can move the Bengals up defensively a couple spots.
For sure. But speaking of Midwest Best Barbecue, let's go ahead and toss it to our sponsor, Midwest Best Barbecue.
Now they call T. Higgins, or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. It's them hot honey lemon peppers. Now they call T. Higgins, or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. They was them hot honey lemon peppers. Now they call T. Higgins, or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. And much love to Mama T, Uno and CTB. MB's got Bengals wings, and now we just added T's. 9 to 5 winning things. Gritty for Uno wings. We say yes, Sirski now. Like Aces and be saying that T got them new wings. Only at MB's. Hot honey lemon peppers. Now you can call them T's. Hot honey lemon peppers. Now they call T Higgins. Or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. It's them hot honey lemon peppers. Now they call T Higgins. Or you say number 5.
That was nice. I ain't gonna lie.
Shout out to Midwest Best Barbecue, 669 Justice Court in Loveland, Ohio. Make sure you stop in there and let them know Ace and Zem sent you. Also, this show is sponsored by Fans of Cincy. They are going to take care of your upcoming trips, whether that's airfare, whether that's hotel, whether that's tailgate, all kinds of things, game tickets. They have upcoming trips that are still available for Green Bay, Denver. You can also get your tailgate only experience. They also have Miami as well. You're going to get all-inclusive stuff there with them. You're not going to have to lift a finger. All you got to do is make a $200 deposit on those trips. They will book the whole entire weekend for you and your family. They're going to be close to the actual stadium. If they're not close to the stadium, they're going to shuttle you there. You literally don't have to worry about anything with Fans of Cincy because Dusko and the guys over there have you covered. You can go to fansofcincy.com, sign up today, get your purchase. Don't have to do anything. They're going to book everything for you. They're going to make the itinerary for you. And then even when you go to the tailgate, there's going to be Bengals fans there waiting for you with a smorgasbord of whatever the local food may be, as well as drinks and a DJ and things of that nature. You're going to love it with Fans of Cincy. So make sure you check them out today at fansofcincy.com. This is going to do it for the Cincinnati podcast. We appreciate you guys so much. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know you guys' thoughts. Make sure that you follow the Twitter at Cincinnati Pod. That is the only Cincinnati Twitter out there. I know there may be some fugazi ones out there. It's the at Cincinnati Pod Twitter. Make sure that you guys check that out. And make sure you follow Zim at Zimhude. Follow me at New Stripe City. And make sure that you follow the Bengals in our page for upcoming content with everything surrounding the Bengals. Zim, was there anything that you wanted to say before we get out of here? Can't hear you. I think he said yes, sirski.
Coming up on the Cincinnati podcast.
Hello, world.
Cincinnati. You guys are the Yoshi creators, bro.
It's a new beginning. You know what that means, right?
But I know this, the whole NFL is scared of the Bengals.